All right, everybody, welcome back to another wonderful episode of,
The ride along.
and we are right here at,
Inspection Fuel.
yes, we are in,
New Orleans.
oh my gosh, dude, you nailed all of this. That was perfect, actually. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and we have an awesome guest here today. One of the best things about these conferences is that we get to talk to all kinds of people, wonderful inspectors, vendors. We've talked to a few vendors, but really we want to talk and tell inspector stories. So we're going to do that today. Matt, introduce our guest. Take it away.
Sure. So today we have Brianna Beans of Inspector Beans, which we got to talk about that in a minute too. But you've got some. I talked to you yesterday just for a few minutes, and within a few minutes, I was like, "Wow, you need to come on the show."
Yeah.
One of the most interesting things that I think we talked about was the type of inspections that you do. So I want to talk about that,
Yeah.
and then I want to talk about like how you got there because there's a story behind that as well. Without any further ado, it's Bree though. You go by
Yeah.
Bree, right? Let's call it, because I was just reading your name tag.
You're right.
I walk around here and talk to people like I know them and I say their names on their name tag. So Bree, tell us about the type of inspections that you do. I think that's very intriguing. I want to know more about that.
Yeah, I mean, so I focus mainly on rental property inspections. Just like a home inspection, it's a crucial aspect of an investment property, and working with property managers and other people who are investors in this sense, really find the rental aspect of it um, just a crucial piece, and it's a selling point for everybody that's involved. It works with the tenants, it works with the property managers, the owners, but it's also a much more simplified version than a home inspection. But even if you were buying a rental or a investment property and you had a home inspector do the primary home inspection, how are you upkeeping that property over the
Right.
years? Because when you have tenants in there for 3, 4, 5 years, you don't know the conditions of that home and what's happening to that home.
And we all know they're not really good about like reporting issues and
Right.
things like that. And
Yeah.
so you come through there and kind of find all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's I find really interesting because I don't know anybody else that does that.
Sure.
Did you is this something that you said, hey, this is a market that's kind of untapped? Like what happened there?
So I don't know if you're familiar with Axiom inspections.
I've heard of them. Yeah, definitely.
So based out of Colorado, I think they've expanded to other areas.
Aren't they part of Launchpad or?
It's very possible.
Okay.
So I went to Axiom training for my inspection training initially, and through that built relationships with Wade and was able to expand those services down in the Fort Collins area because he's in Denver. And they just hired me on as a contractor to do these rental inspections that they were doing. They had a little bit different of a avenue that they were taking for it. But allowing me to do that just kind of opened that door for it. And over the years, it was something that they just stopped focusing on and were really interested in, and they weren't in the Fort Collins area. So, slowly but surely it got passed down and left to me. So that was kind of how it started. And since then, it's changed a lot, and there's been a lot of different things that have changed focus. I don't know if in Texas or other areas there's like big rental laws and things like that, but it's constantly changing, and Colorado is definitely one for changing.
I don't really know because like this is just an industry I've never even considered, right? I mean, I guess I have had people that were renting homes that had me do an inspection for a couple of reasons. One, they were going to buy the house that they rented,
Yeah.
and so they wanted to get it inspected before they purchased that rental because that happens quite a lot in that
Yeah.
industry. But it was all just a full-on home inspection, you know. I think I have done inspections for renters on the home, but it was just a full inspection. This wasn't one that they were buying. They just literally wanted to know the condition of it.
Right.
I even think I have done some for, the landlord or the property owner before. Very few and far between, but nothing quite like what you're doing, which is more on a upkeep and maintenance side of things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so it definitely focuses more on the current conditions of the home prior to a tenant moving in. Um, much more cosmetic based than it is detail. So there isn't like roof and attic and crawl spaces and things like that. However, if there are concerning things, they do get noted in the inspections. It's just not the primary focus.
But I was hearing a little bit before about kind of like how you transitioned into this.
Yeah.
That's definitely part of the story. I mean, is
Yeah.
that something that we can get into or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
So the transition of it, I mean, working as a contractor, it's not my business. I'm just going to show up and do the work. But I definitely had relationships with the property managers, and I was hearing things and seeing those things, and listening to them. I've always was like, if I can take this and make it my own, I will. And when they did hand it over to me, that's when I was able to start doing those things a little differently. Um, and so, like, to get into a little more, like, the Denver market and the Fort Collins market is changing as far as like they're requiring rental inspections, and everybody's doing it a little different because the cities are making their own rules around it. Um, but Fort Collins specifically is gearing towards the Fort Collins minimum requirements for rental housing. And so within that, they have so many things that they have to have in every home for a rental unit. So they have to register it, they have all the checklists of things that they have to follow. And so, like, getting into that, it was really just like following what everybody else wanted and then allowing that to become what the inspection looks like.
So, does this lead to kind of recurring jobs for you in terms of, yeah, okay, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
recurring revenue baked right into that.
Yeah.
Um, how would you advise that other inspectors kind of adapt this sort of a model or add it to their repertoire?
So I would say the first thing that they should do is get in touch with their city and what their requirements are on the rentals and things like that, because that's going to change how that inspection is going to look for them and if, whether it's important for them or not. However, most property managers are doing their own type of inspection, and not being a certified home inspector, they don't know all the things to be looking for in testing, and they're not getting into the plumbing and other things and looking for leaks or things that are bigger manners. And most of the time, if somebody's gone in and done a once over, they don't catch what I catch in the inspections. And
Yeah, they just paint over everything.
yeah, yeah,
The landlord special.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it helps prevent that.
Actually, let's get into that. What are give me like I don't know if you can think of five off the top of your head, but I would love to know some of your, I guess, most notorious landlord specials that you've encountered on some of these.
Sure. I think a lot of them are painting. Like, they they don't do anything when it comes to prep work for painting. So you find outlets that are painted over
Yeah.
that are just gunk and gunk and gunk inside those outlets and things. And obviously that's a safety issue. Um, Painted white cabinets in the kitchen. I don't know why we do that, because it's really just a pain to clean. It's a pain to upkeep, and it never looks nice over time. And it's not a value that's added to the units. Um, and there's just a lot of different things that I could say that I'd have to look at some photos and other things to tell you some pretty horrific stories.
I
But
bet. I bet. I bet. Well, I mean, we've seen like the memes and stuff, or videos
Yeah.
about like the landlord paint, like over like bugs and
Yeah.
dirt and all kinds of rocks.
hair, other
Yeah,
things,
all
yeah.
kinds of stuff. Yeah, just yeah, ridiculous stuff.
Some of them
So
think they're
it's paint.
electricians. You never know what you're going to get into.
So we've got electrical, we've got paint. What else?
Well, that and another big one would be just what they would say is a room in a house. So if you got a basement that's been finished and now they don't have an egress window, but they want to rent this 5-bedroom house,
Yeah,
and
safety.
or they've done some silly things where like that egress window sits halfway out
Yep.
and it's got a rollout window and the window well cover hits it. You're like, this is not a point of exit. It's just never going to work.
I can imagine also plumbing, like a lot of probably DIY plumbing and a flexible pipe and
Very
stuff that yeah, I bet that.
Split up bathrooms. There was that one recently where the shower was under the stairs and the toilet and sink was in a whole nother room.
That's ridiculous. Hey, there's that architect. I think his name's Dory something. Anybody follow him? Where his famous thing is like, people I think send him content where it's like it's always toilets in odd spots, and sometimes like it'll be like some little mini staircase headed to a toilet that's like up higher than everything else in the room. Or like oftentimes there's a staircase and a toilet involved, and so like it's all in weird combinations of it. So he'll draw this up as an architect, and it looks so weird on paper, and he's like, that would never happen, right? And then he shows you the picture
Yeah,
of it that it actually happened. And so anyway, really
it
good,
does happen.
really cool account to follow. Hey, so I want to touch on something, and this is going to shift gears a little bit, but you got into this. You were a home inspector, a general home inspector, just like we do, prior to doing the rental properties. Now you exclusively do the rental properties, and there is a reason behind that. And I think it's important for us to touch on it if you'd like to.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for going on 8 years now. And I didn't really make it like a primary focus of mine. I did more on the side and other things, and I was working with another company while doing the rentals. And in that time I was getting ready to inspect a roof, and when I put the ladder up, everything was fine. But when I took that last step onto the roof, the ladder went out from underneath me and I fell. and it was a serious enough injury that I fractured my back and was in a back brace for 3 months. And the recovery from that was really difficult, and still can be. But that really just set it in gear that I was only going to be doing rental inspections.
Yeah, so I mean, at that point, it's like, okay, you had to shift gears a little bit, and you knew that you weren't going to be getting on those roofs anymore.
Yeah.
But you still obviously are talented in the industry. You still want to do something home inspection related, and you already kind of had that avenue at least somewhat set up, right?
Yeah,
The rentals.
yeah. So it definitely allowed me to solidify that this decision was the one that I needed to go with and run with. And it's been 2 years since then, and I'm doing it full time. And
And this is, a great time to talk about ladder safety. I mean, like,
Absolutely.
as inspectors, a lot of us are getting on those roofs. There are devices specifically to prevent that from happening. I think, what is the company that makes the clamp?
There's a, yeah,
Yeah, I can't remember their name. I see them at the building conferences. It'll come to me in a minute, but there's that. Some people tie off, some things. There's different things, but whatever you do, we should always be, aware and try to practice ladder safety and safety when walking on the roof.
Absolutely.
I do kind of wonder. I'm like, can we talk a little bit about? Try this again. Can we talk a little bit about what kind of ladder you were using at the time, or if you're using ladders now, having experienced this, what do you prefer and what are you looking for in a ladder? Because there's a lot of different opinions on it.
I mean, yeah, there is a lot of different things out there. I think take it seriously when they say what the ratings are and what it is that you're going to be using it for. The ladder that I had specifically, I had it for a long time. I was pretty comfortable with it. The roof in this case was really short, so I could touch it, so it wasn't like it was super high.
Yeah, not a
I think
huge.
that, you kind of get that comfortable, like you have done this 100 times, but always double check those things, and
Was it like an extension or was it a telescoping?
yeah, it was an extension one.
Oh, it was,
So
okay.
one that, bead out,
Okay, like
and
a-
then
Yeah.
What do they call it? Articulate.
Articulating feet.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So
That was the word.
has a bunch of different
That word
functions
sounds
to
smart.
it. Yeah.
It's a SAT word of the day right there. Yeah.
Articulation.
That's it. Is that what they call it, an A-frame?
Yeah.
Is that what the A?
Well,
Well, I never knew that. Hold on. The A stands for articulation and an A-frame
Maybe.
ladder, or is it just because it looks like an A? That's what I was.
Well,
because it looked like an
Maybe
A.
both. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's a
I
good
think
question.
it's articulating whenever it does both.
All right. Hey, sound off in the comments. What is the A for in an A-frame ladder?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's it. But
Well,
no,
an A-frame house looks like an A.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
Yeah,
think that's what it is.
it looks like it. Yeah. The shoe does fit on that one.
I mean, you can go either way with it, I guess.
So, okay, what was the recovery time on that, if you don't mind talking about it? Because again, I'm sure you're not the only inspector that's had a fall. If you see thousands and thousands of homes, eventually, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
You'll touch a hot panel, something. And in this case, it's terrible that this happened. But
Yeah.
what was the recovery time like from that? How did you bounce back?
So the recovery time was initially I was in a back brace for 3 months. So that was like the initial just recovery for the injury on my back. But then physical therapy after that was 6 months to a year, and I think it took me about a year before I could even lift 50 pounds back up because it's putting that pressure on your back.
Yeah,
So it
that's
does
horrible.
take a really long time.
I have chronic lower back pain just from being 38. I
Yeah.
cannot imagine. Okay, yeah.
It's a serious thing.
I mean, it just sounds very traumatic.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I guess you probably had a lot of questions like, is my career in this over? Which kind of in a way it was, but more or less shifted though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's, I mean, I'm glad that you made a full recovery.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're able to still work in the industry,
Right.
without, having put yourself in that position.
Don't put myself on ladders anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
So, in what ways are you able to market rental inspections as your form of business now? I mean, do you go straight to property management companies?
Yeah.
Like, what's that methodology look like? It's not realtors necessarily.
No, not necessarily. No, which is kind of a nice change of pace. There's a ton of realtors that are out there, and when you work with a property manager, and in my case, with the property managers that I work with, they have hundreds and thousands of units. So when you meet one, you have a doorway that's going to something much bigger than having to network with a bunch of realtors. So it's a little different of an avenue, and it definitely does start with property management companies and building their trust and things like that. One way that I kind of gear it to get them on board is like, I'll just do this one for free, and so you guys can get to see what's going on with this, because in the end, it's a bigger marketing thing.
Right. Yeah. If it's a company like that has hundreds of properties, then that's a really good way to get your foot in the door. I
Yeah.
would imagine.
Well, and a rule of thumb with most properties is that they have about a 3-year turnover. So we're seeing most of those properties every 3 years.
Okay, so that's huge. So, book of business wise, I mean, how many property management companies are you working with now? Like, and how busy does it keep you during the week?
So summertime is always the most busiest. Being in the Fort Collins area, I also work down in Boulder. They're college towns. So that turnover in the summertime is pretty wild, and it gets very, very busy. Um, but I work with roughly 5 or 6 property management companies, and each one wants something a little bit different, because I also do have a cleaning business along with that. I listen to the property managers and what they're struggling with and their turnovers, and I've opened those doors to, create vendor solutions to streamline those turnovers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good business model. I honestly, for like, I'm down in Florida right now, and rentals are huge.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in the beach communities and things like that.
Yep.
I've even advocated that inspectors down there kind of think outside the box in terms of doing post-storm damage assessments when hurricanes come through and things like that. But this is just a testament to thinking outside of the box in my mind. When did what was the light bulb moment when you kind of decided, there might be something here for this?
I would say it was a few years in of doing it with the other company that I was working for, and building those relationships with the property managers and just listening to them and what they had to say about the units and things like that. It was that moment of like, I could do a lot more with this. And it doesn't just have to be with this company, and I can expand this into other things and create this to be something much bigger. And one of the other big things, like, that every property manager really has a big focus on, is safety and hazardous things. And so that's like a big emphasis of things that I put on. So we check and or replace smoke detectors if we're in the units as well. So it's just something that's an easy thing for me to do, but also something that is out of sight, out of mind for them, because I know it's been taken
That's
care of.
interesting. So you do a little bit of maintenance,
Yeah.
actual maintenance,
Light
on it.
maintenance, but very
Light
yeah,
maintenance. But
yeah.
I mean, because as a general home inspector, at least in Texas, like that's
You're not supposed to.
we can't. Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
Right.
Is Colorado regulated? Let me ask.
No.
Okay, Colorado's not regulated.
No.
So you can do whatever you want there anyway.
Yeah.
But for people that are not in Colorado, and I mean, because what you're doing can certainly happen in Texas or Florida or anywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to think like, yeah, you could also include light maintenance in what you do.
Right.
And that just changes everything. I know a guy that got out of home inspection because he couldn't stand pointing out problems and not fixing them.
Yeah.
We got licensed at the same time, and we kind of kept in touch with each other. And then like about 2 years in, he bought into a franchise, pillar to post. And about 2 years in, he said, I can't do this anymore. I can't tell people these problems and not be able to fix them.
Yeah. Well, and there's, some things that you could do that are like even light maintenance. If you're opening a cabinet door and that, cabinet's loose, just take out your screwdriver and screw it in, because it takes less time to do that than it does to even write comment on it. So it's small things.
Yeah, it's one of those things I feel like where I mean, some people might have a more firm line, but at the same time, I'm like, is anybody really going to look back and be like, you know what? I can't close this cabinet door now, so I'm going to sue Inspector Beans. Okay, like, yeah, it's no. I mean, it's not going to be quite that.
You said it, so we got to go there. Your name, okay?
Yeah.
We got to talk about your name. So this is funny because I was talking to Fletch earlier yesterday, and because we had talked, and I was like, okay, we're having her on the show. This is great, and so I was asking him, because you're friends with him. Y'all have known each other for a while,
Yeah.
and I was asking him some questions about you, and I was like, where did the name Inspector Beans came from? Because I saw your name, but I didn't see that's your last name,
Yeah.
and which is odd. I mean,
Right.
it's different, right?
Yeah.
And the way that you just leaned into it, like, I think is great. And how does it work for you? Does it help? Does it help you? I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is something that stands out. Beans has just been a nickname of mine my whole life because it's my last name, and it's definitely something that people take and they remember me for sure. So, and most of the time, I don't remember who a lot of people are, but they'll remember who I am. So that's that piece of it. So it definitely helps for sure.
I didn't know if it was somebody's. So the backstory here: we're setting up for the conference the day before and doing all of the name tags for everybody. And so you see, I saw Inspector Beans on there. None of us had any idea who this was or what the name meant. We just kind of went, that's an odd name. And but I mean, it's funny. You see all of that, like the pile, we alphabetized all of these, the pile of A names. And I'm like, now these are the inspection companies that went back to the yellow pages. Okay.
Totally.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah, that kind of
It's
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be like double A home inspections because you want to be the furthest up on the yellow pages, you know?
That's right.
Yeah. But then we get to Inspector Beans and I'm like, I don't know if this is a play on the character on Even Stevens or the old Disney show or what this is.
I
But
didn't know what it was either, but I thought it was really cool immediately. And then when I found out it actually was you, and I didn't want to give you that too much of that information prior to this because I wanted this reaction. Because like when I found out, I was like, oh wow, that's your last name?
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
actually your name. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Seriously, yeah. Now it's super brandable though too. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, like I mean, have you built up a bit of a social media following with that, or?
Not really. My main focus hasn't been a lot with that, mainly because who I work with are, individuals at property management companies. So I've actually been pretty lucky to not have to do a whole lot of marketing and other things. It's not like a one-off thing. When I meet one company, it's a big deal.
I can't stop thinking, just call Beans.
That's it. No, I love it. And by the way, sorry for yawning. It's gosh, we're in New Orleans, and yeah, we had some fun in New Orleans, and yeah, but
I'm here with you.
yeah, I feel that. Now, what's been your favorite thing of the conference here so far, and what are you really looking to take away from it? I guess at the end of it all.
Sure. I think, well, I've been to Inspection Field before, and one of my favorite things is that you guys just do a great job with like putting on the event. And
I'll pass that on to the guys that set it up. Yeah.
they do an awesome job, and it's family oriented, and I love that you guys do events and other things, and it's really a way to get everybody together and connect, and I think that's
Yeah.
the big thing for sure.
That's the big goal. It's why we moved it up earlier in the year this year too. It's we wanted to be able to bring even more people in. Last year was tough around the holidays and stuff, but yeah, no, it's the more the merrier here for sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
it's awesome.
glad it's not your first. Hope it's not your last. Definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Podcast. That did it. She's not coming back.
Yeah.
She's done. She's like, I will never visit. Yeah,
But stay away from those ride-alongs.
yeah, they're a little weird. Yeah, they're not supposed to do that.
True.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, fantastic. So, what's your idea as far as like for inspectors that'll hear this business model, and who might want to try it and scale it themselves? What is the methodology for scaling? What are you looking to do in the years ahead?
What am I looking to do in the future? So, I mean, my biggest thing that I would like to do is franchise the business and take that and duplicate it over and over and over again. Some of the property management companies that I work with are also franchised, so they're all over the place, and that just opens up a door in places that allows me to have those connections in those places as well. So I just want to be able to do that, and I think there's a good base for that to be able to do it.
I really think it's doable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. So
And then, I mean, you're already doing a lot of businesses contracting for Axiom. Are you planning to sell it at that point too, or?
I mean, potentially,
Yeah.
it could be something that I don't want to do it forever.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Alongside with, I do, like I said, I do cleanings and stuff like that too. So, it's a big operation. It's a lot to handle, and so I don't see myself being able to do it myself. And so yeah.
No doubt. So okay. So is it just you right now, or do you have a team, or you?
Yeah, I do have a team.
Okay.
It's mainly me inspecting. Brett Fletcher also helps out,
Yeah.
especially in the summer.
Nice.
He's awesome. He's a workaholic, so he's just down to get in there, and he'll tell you they're much easier, and it's just an easier day to just go out and do a rental inspection versus a full home inspection. I don't have to deal with people, clients. Like I'm there by
The
myself.
worst part of the job. Yeah. It's it now. No.
It's just all things. It just makes it quicker and easier, and it's a lot faster to do.
I love it. No, awesome business model. And this is one of the things, again, it's one of the best parts about coming to a conference. You get to meet all types. I mean, not everybody does the job the exact same way, and not even, does the exact same job.
No.
So this is, maybe that's one kind of a last question that we can ask here. What are some of the differentiating things between a rental inspection and a standard home inspection, technically?
Technically, so I would think the biggest thing would be that it focuses way more on cosmetic defects, things like that that you might not necessarily do in a regular home inspection.
Yeah, we tend to not do stay away from doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're kind of leaning into it.
Exactly. Yeah, which is a little different. It kind of makes it a little harder too, and you're like, what should I nitpick or what should I nitpick? But the biggest thing is like, can they or can they not charge the tenant for this when they move in or out? And so that's the biggest thing. And I mean, it protects the investments for the owners,
Yeah.
the property managers, so that they can see the foreseeable things that are happening. There's been a few that we've done over the years where the porch is settling, and they see it every year and they're like, well, it's done 6 inches now. We should probably fix that. So being able to see that over time too, I think is a huge aspect of it.
So I mean, I imagine it is really heavy in safety,
Yeah.
and then also heavy in cosmetic.
Yep. Yep.
That's huge. And again, it's almost like you get a deeper insight on the home than even, the homeowner. I mean, all of this information is going back to them.
Yeah.
But again, that added benefit of seeing it more than once over a period of several years is huge.
Right.
So
I think I might know the properties better than some of the property managers at this point.
that's it.
How do you remember
100%.
that?
I bet you
I've
do.
definitely been here and I know what's going on.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, the guys, we're here at Inspection Fuel again. The lunch line is starting to back up towards the podcasting space. So I think we're going to go join them. Honestly, Brianna, this has been awesome. And oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference and come on back again next year.
Where can people find you? Or you don't do much social media. Would
I
you want
don't.
people to find you?
Yeah, I mean, you
don't
can
want that.
find me on Facebook. My umbrella business is Rental Property Solutions, so it's just what gears it all into one. But Inspector Beans and Cleaning Beans is out there too,
Yeah,
so you can find me.
I imagine we could probably find that pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
The logo is a bean with the
Go figure.
with the Inspector Gadget hat. And
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's so awesome. What'd you use to develop that? I mean, did you like hire that out to somebody or?
Actually, yeah, Inanachi is the one that
Oh,
did
wow,
it. So
cool.
Nice,
I drew
okay.
the logo and I had the idea and they just made it come to life and it was awesome.
They did my logo as well. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm sure they remember it.
Yeah, very cool. Well, honestly, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, truly. Yep. And thank you guys, everybody, so much for watching. Way more that's going to be coming from Inspection Fuel, so don't miss any of it. Be sure to go follow Inspector Beans and catch us here again next time, right on.
The ride along.
You got it. All right, talk to you later.